back to my channel. Today we are making scalloped potatoes. So first thing you're going to want to do is set your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So what you see me here doing right now is just cutting a few potatoes up. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. I like the texture of these potatoes. They seem to come out very well, better than russets. Russets are a little bit too, they fall apart a little bit more. These ones hold their texture just a little bit better. Once everything is nicely cut up, we're going to go ahead and layer the potatoes into the pan here. So I just went ahead and kind of layered it, sped up the video a little bit because this took a little bit of time. I actually got tired of layering these potatoes. So kind of do it faster. I ended up stacking them and kind of just pushing them down, so to speak. So once they are all layered, now it's time to move over to seasoning. First you see me seasoning them with a little bit of salt, pink Himalayan salt. I love that salt, best thing ever. Now I'm going to move on to seasoning with a little bit of garlic powder. Probably a lot of garlic powder. I really like garlic powder. After that, moving on to a little bit of onion powder. Just a little bit of onion powder, not too much onion powder on these. Don't want them to be too oniony, just enough to give it a little bit of flavor. And then of course black pepper. I kind of went a little bit heavy-handed on the black pepper. I do like black pepper. I think it gives it a little bit more depth of flavor, especially because it's going to be very cheesy. You're going to want that black pepper just to kind of break up that richness of the cheese a little bit. Now it's time to make the roux. It's equal parts butter, equal parts flour. So in here you see me dropping in about a tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to swirl that around a little bit, let that kind of get around the pan. Next up, dropping in about a tablespoon of flour. Alright, just going to go ahead and get that mixed up. Make sure that the flour perfectly kind of melts into the butter a little bit. Make sure that there's no lumps or clumps being left over in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that mixed up. Alright, so we're going in now with a cup of milk. I use 2% milk. Doesn't really matter what kind of milk you use. Use your preference of choice as far as what kind of milk you want to use, whether it's 1%, whole milk, your choice. I'm just going to go ahead and start getting this stirred in. Just want to make sure that everything kind of gets dissolved within the milk. No lumps, no clumps, nothing like that sort of left over. Alright, so it's really nice and thick. You can see that it's not quite as thick as a gravy per se. It's a little bit thinner than that, more like a chowder per se. So now it's time to add our cheeses. This is about 2 cups of cheese. I added an Italian cheese blend, Parmesan, and sharp cheddar to the mix. So go ahead and use whatever 2 cups of cheeses of your choice. So now we're just going to go ahead and get all that mixed in. So till the cheese is nice and melted, gonna go ahead and stir that around. Alright, so the mixture is a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and add a little bit more milk. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add another full cup of milk, but I'm gonna add it half a cup at a time. So you see me in here going ahead and pouring about half a cup at a time, and we're just gonna go ahead and stir that in. Alright, and it is time to pour our cheese mixture over the potatoes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this poured over here. And last but not least, just topping it off with a little bit more cheddar cheese right before I go ahead and put it into the oven. So again, it's going to go into the oven set to at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be in the oven for about 45 minutes, or at least until it's nice golden brown and crispy at the top. And yeah, that's it. Those are those beautiful scalloped potatoes. I hope you all enjoy it.